This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, Dunedin's old prison is having more than 12,000 slate tiles replaced as part of a heritage restoration. A new initiative is teaching young cyclists some life-saving skills. And the inaugural Toy Wanaka this weekend is shining a light on the talents of local artists and designers. Kia ora, good evening. I'm Daryl Baser. Work on replacing more than 12,000 slate tiles on the roof of Dunedin's old prison has been underway for about a month. The re-roofing is part of the second stage of the $660,000 restoration project.
Despite some setbacks earlier this year, work on replacing the 12,125-year-old slate tiles on the roof of Dunedin's historic prison is making good progress. The re-roofing is part of the second stage of the $660,000 heritage restoration. Dunedin Prison Trust Chairman Owen Graham says the roof replacement is the key part of the whole project.
The roof is the key to the future of the building. Once we have this sound and secure, we know the building is already strong, and so we'll remove those risks from weather and other events like that. And then we can start looking at other options for the project, for the prison itself. The courtyard, which is below us, also has lots of additions, and they need to be removed so we can see what the potential is for that area in the future too.
As well as the roof, the restoration also includes taking off all non-original bars, checking all the iron sill windows, then repainting and refurbishing the exterior. Graham says the Trust hopes it can raise a final $60,000 before the end of the year.
We still have a little bit to raise before the end of the year, and that will mean that we can meet the full project. Our fallback is that we drop off some new gate pillars that we intend to put down at the front so that they actually signal to the community this is where the Dunedin prison is.
Roofer John Megan is about one of a dozen people working on the former prison's roof. He says about 3,000 tiles have been replaced so far. He says many of the 125-year-old slate tiles have seen better days.
Taking off all the old slate, which is absolutely stuffed. You push your finger through it just about. Just years and years and years, so much time, and just putting new slate on, which we've done here, and replacing all that and fixing all the lead work up and just generally tidying the whole place up, so it'll last another 120 years.
While some people would start to tire at the sight of the slates by now, Megan says the work is rewarding, though there's still a bit to do before Christmas, when he hopes to have it all completed.
Got a few more thousand to come off.
Yeah.
The project is expected to take until mid-March next year to complete. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A Dunedin woman is set to receive $20,000 and 3 months' pay after being bullied in her workplace. Jessica Williams was employed by AWF Limited at Slate Recruitment. An investigation by the Employment Relations Authority found she had been bullied by her manager and unjustifiably dismissed. Williams filed a personal grievance last year, and AWF allowed her to work from home while the complaint was being investigated. The Employment Relations Authority says the return to work plan AWF designed gave Williams only one option: return to work under the same manager or stay at home and not be paid. A new joint initiative between schools, the Dunedin City Council and Bike School is encouraging safe road users before they ride on actual roads. South Dunedin's Bathgate Park School is one of the institutions giving youngsters a chance to learn potentially life-saving skills. Putting pedals to the metal is the safety of the new track. Bathgate Park School pupils testing out their road safety track with world champion Scarlett Hagan.
It's been pretty exciting designing and planning and managing the tracks for schools. It gives the kids a chance to learn cycling in their schools before we head out onto the roads.
8 times New Zealand champion Hagan knows a thing or two about mountain bikes and safety. She also knows some kids love to compete, so she added a special feature to Bathgate Park's track.
In the Bathgate Park School, we included a slalom racetrack so the kids can race each other along a track with winding corners and some technical obstacles.
The school's principal says making theirs a dual track not only adds to the competitive element, but can also make them safer road users.
Well, the 2 lanes is something special to Bathgate Park School. It was a particular request I put in. We wanted it for 2 purposes. One, of course, is for the children getting used to having someone on their peripheral, because when you're out on the roads there are cars, cyclists, walkers and other obstacles that are on your peripheral, and so it gives them a chance to be familiar with that.
Katrina Robertson is pleased the school has this new facility.
Well, it's an amazing addition to our school. We were very fortunate to be able to get this provided for us. So what it's going to allow is our children a chance to practice their road safety skills, both for bike riding and also for scooter riding.
Dunedin City Council Road Safety Education Coordinator Alkia Van Alst is pleased the council co-funds tracks like this one with Waka Kotahi, the New Zealand Transport Agency, and says it'll mean these future road users will have established road sense.
Yeah, so I guess the good thing about having them off-road is that the children can practice in a safe environment and build their confidence, and then hopefully they'll go on to using more active transport to school, like walking and cycling. They learn here sort of more than just cycle skills. They also learn like the road rules, what it means for stop signs, roundabouts.
Alkia Van Alst says on average each of these road safety tracks in schools costs about $3,000 to install. In Dunedin, the South Today. Staff and pupils at Invercargill's Rimu Full Primary School are celebrating their school's new mural. The mural was unveiled this week by Principal Kate Webster, who thanked Dunedin artist Jemima Pedro for helping the pupils create the work. The school's Samoan and Kapahaka groups performed, which was filmed to be entered in this year's online Murihiku Polyfest. Webster says the colours and design should help the visitors get a better understanding of who they are. The inaugural Toi Wanaka event this weekend is shining a light on the talents of artists and designers. The idea was formed during lockdown and is giving Wanaka jewellers the perfect platform to showcase their craft.
Wanaka's natural beauty is well known, but this weekend the talents of Wanaka's creative community will also be celebrated. 2 jewellers, Alice Herold and Amy Bixby, are just some of the local artists taking part in the inaugural Toi Wanaka weekend of workshops, talks and events. For jeweller Alice Herold, her focus was on the design process.
I'm a storyteller, and that's what I love doing for my clients and for in my own collections as well. So my last collection was called Once Upon a Time, and it was based on fairy tales. So I chose 3 fairy tales to be capsule collections. So we had Beauty and the Beast, we had Cinderella and Red Riding Hood. What I loved about the fairy tales, and it's what I do for my clients, is we're creating a legacy. So your jewellery box is basically the story of your life. It encapsulates all these different chapters, and jewels quite often celebrate major events in our life.
From a home-based workshop and gallery, Amy Bixby creates jewellery that showcases the traditional essence of handcrafted techniques.
I suppose I'm really drawn by the handmade and the craft of jewellery making, the history, the tradition. I'd love for my jewellery to just really look handmade. It still needs to look or be crafted to this highest quality, but have the essence of being handmade. I also try to source quite unique gemstones. I work in the traditional ones as well, like I love rubies and sapphires and diamonds, but I also try to look for really unique sort of stones that might have other minerals growing through them. There's rutilated quartz and moss agate, and it looks like a plant, but it's a gemstone and it's created by Mother Nature, and I think that's just what, inspires me,
In Wanaka for the South Today.
And still to come on the South Today, the latest in the Tim Shadbot saga in Invercargill, and we have the 5th instalment of our earthquake series. See you after the break. Hi, Alec Campbell Menswear. We're back in George Street on the corner of Hanover Street. Come and check out our big store. It's a big space full of bargains. Now look at these shirts. There's shirts for everybody here. Look at these merino pullovers, stacks of moleskins, literally tons of trousers. Check out these big racks of sports jackets. Beautiful.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So come and check out Alec Campbell Menswear. We're back on George Street in the old ANZ building.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
No mai anō, welcome back. Invercargill Mayor Sir Tim Shadbott's woes continue to grow. The Southern leader is facing more troubles after documents released to the ODT show a central government probe into the council started in January, 8 months before the matter became public. The documents include a damning letter from the Southland Chamber of Commerce stating the council can't fix its own problems. The revelations come following a week of troubles for Sir Tim after he picked controversial councillor Nobby Clark as his deputy mayor. Departing Deputy Mayor Tony Biddle has publicly shared concerns about Shadbott's performance, but says he's still popular with the public. Tonight we present another chapter in the 10-part series on Dunedin's risk of an earthquake similar in magnitude to the ones which damaged Christchurch 10 years ago. This time we talk with people who remember a less devastating earthquake that hit the south in 1974.
On the evening of April the 9th, 1974, Dunedin was shaken by an earthquake of about magnitude 5, toppling the chimneys of several Dunedin homes. Many of those living in the city at the time can remember it well.
And I came up and there were the children at the top, and the stairs were swaying around and all the rest that I was coming up, and I called out and I said, "No, just stay where you are." I said, "It's all right." And they said, "What is it? What is it, Mum?" Because for them that was a new thing, an earthquake. And I said, "Oh, it's all right. It's just the wind." I thought that'll suffice until I get up there and talk to them. But it did go on for quite some time.
Mum had just tucked me and my sisters into bed, and we felt this tremendous shaking. And of course, being kids, we just need to jump out and find our mother, don't we? So we went to so it was a 2-storey house, and we went to the top of the stairs, and there was a very narrow stairwell. And I remember Mum was about to come up the stairs with a cup of tea for herself as she was about to watch Coronation Street. And she just said, "Don't move, stay there." and so we had to stay at the top of the stairs. And I remember looking at the stairs, and they were like a big wave, down to Mum. So they were actually, you were unable to walk on them anyway, because they were just so, and it seemed to go on for quite a long time. And I remember the three of us sitting at the top of the stairs just being absolutely petrified, and Mum's face was very much protective mother mode. She was not going to let us go down those stairs.
University of Otago geology professor Mark Sterling has studied seismic features such as the Akatori Fault, which runs more or less along the coastline of South Dunedin. He says the fault has moved with potentially destructive force in, geologically, very recent times, sparking off a potentially destructive earthquake about 1,000 years ago, and then another quake about 700 years ago, and it could well move again with destructive force at any time.
It would be a large earthquake over magnitude 7, and it would probably be very strong shaking and damaging shaking in Dunedin.
But, he says, the 1974 earthquake was unrelated to the Akatori Fault, and not a true example of the destructive force a large earthquake could inflict upon the city.
It was not one of the big main events that a fault line produces. That was an earthquake that we would call in seismic hazard speak a background or distributed seismicity earthquake. It's kind of in the noise in the big picture.
In Dunedin, the South Today.
And after the break on the South Today, we catch up with a gaggle of international language teachers in Queenstown and look at the weather for polling day and beyond. See you after the break.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Step into Shop on Carrot and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Hi, Alex Campbell Menswear. We're back in George Street on the corner of Hanover Street. Come and check out our big store. It's a big space full of bargains. Now look at these shirts. There's shirts for everybody here. Look at these merino pullovers, stacks of moleskins, literally tons of trousers. Check out these big racks of sports jackets. Beautiful.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So come and check out Alex Campbell Menswear. We're back on George Street in the old ANZ building.
Ah, TV, our favourite babysitter. But it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! Plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
Thanks for staying with us. About 70 international language teachers from across New Zealand gathered in Queenstown for a week of immersing themselves in their own languages. While they'd normally be spending the week overseas, COVID-19 interrupted their schedule, so instead Queenstown hosted their gathering.
For 70 primary, secondary and distance learning teachers, Queenstown isn't the place they expected to be this year. Before COVID-19 interrupted international travel, teachers from all over New Zealand would have spent the school holidays overseas, immersing themselves in the local languages. Future Learning Solutions National French Advisor Guy Monchartin says even though the teachers can't, the programme was still helping to develop their languages.
We select teachers from all over New Zealand to go away and be immersed, but this time, because of the borders, then we stay in Queenstown. And yeah, so this is the first time ever. So we had to readapt our programs to allow those teachers to still be to still develop their language while staying in New Zealand.
Whakatane High School teacher Cheryl Everett says while they missed out on immersing themselves in the culture, the Queenstown programme is great for their professional development.
As a group, we are talking French all the time, so it is wonderful for our professional development, and we're learning activities that we could take back to our towns in New Zealand.
In Queenstown, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. 12,000 slate tiles on Dunedin's old prison are being replaced as part of the second stage of Heritage Restoration Project. A new joint initiative between the DCC and Bike School plans to teach young cyclists life-saving skills before they ride on actual roads. And an idea formed during lockdown is giving Wanaka crafters the chance to show off their talents at this weekend's Toy Wanaka event. Time now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's Otago Daily Times. We welcome the editor, Mr. Barry Stewart. G'day.
Hello, Daryl. Well, as we all know, the campaigning is over, or it's nearly over. Billboards are down, or they will be shortly. And all that's left is the election. So if you haven't done it already, make sure tomorrow you get out there and vote.
Polling day.
Exactly. And tomorrow evening you can follow all the action from the election on odt.co.nz. From 7:30 we'll have reporters at key positions and key areas in the south ready to get reaction from the winners and losers. So look out for that.
Brilliant.
And of course on Monday in the Otago Daily Times we'll have a special 12-page special election publication, and that'll have results from all the electorates, all 72 is it? Something like that.
We'll find it on Monday.
So we test for you. And we'll have the results from every electorate and also have comment and analysis from about the new Parliament and indeed the new government. So it's going to be a very exciting time. Another story, evidence of climate change is piling up in the south. We can now apparently grow kiwi fruit in Dunedin and in Invercargill. A major climate change report released this week also has some predictions for the south over the next 20 years, so that's something to look out for. We've got some good reading in the weekend mix. Bruce Munro talks to acclaimed New Zealand writer Vincent O'Sullivan about the joys and frustrations of writing about his late friend Rolf Hotary, one of the country's significant yet private artists. And then once you've done with the election, on Sunday you can perhaps sit back and on the couch and see if the All Blacks can get the jobs done against the Wallabies. Coach Ian Foster has made some changes to that team, and you will be able to read a full preview of that encounter in the ODT tomorrow.
Brilliant. A full read for all.
Indeed.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. Happy election day. Time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the southern view, maybe it was a bit of a cold start for this truck in early afternoon traffic in South Dunedin. There he goes. Looking at the situation, a rather cold weekend ahead with mostly dry weather but plenty of cloud about both days across the south. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, where it's partly cloudy, Westport is set for showers and 13, Greymouth is also due to be wet with 14 degrees. To the northeast, Nelson heads for grey skies and 15 degrees. The sun may peek through the clouds in Blenheim and your high is set to be 14 degrees. In Canterbury, it'll be cloudy and grey in this area too, 11 degrees with showers in Kaikoura. Also Legs 11 and a grey day in Christchurch, cloudy as well in Ashburton, and you're heading for 10 degrees. To the southern towns, plan for light winds and skies clearing for all of you down here. The Catlins, Vaucluse, Lumsden and Gore all head for 13 degrees. To central Otago, light winds and cloudy skies hang heavy across the Sarohi. Wanaka and Queenstown stay in single figures with predicted 9-degree highs. Alexandra is slightly warmer, aiming for 11, and Te Anau is the place to be over here, and the warmest, heading for 13 degrees. In the northern towns, the land of the long grey cloud continues here too, with variable winds on the coast. Timaru and Wamaru head for 12 degrees. Light northerly winds and showers remain further inland. Twizel should reach 11, and one less in Omarama, you're set for 10 degrees. In Dunedin, showers tonight with cold southwesterlies and an overnight low of 5 degrees. Showers clearing early tomorrow morning, but skies remaining cloudy and temperatures cold, a high of 11 and a low of 7. Mostly cloudy and cool on Sunday, with northeasterly winds dying out and southwesterlies developing again during the afternoon, a high of 12 and a low of 7. And in Invercargill, showers clearing tonight and southwesterly winds easing with an overnight low of 5 degrees. Fine with sunny periods and some cloud tomorrow, cool with light winds, a high of 13 and a low of 6. Cloud increasing and a few showers developing during the day on Sunday, with moderate southwesterlies again, a high of 12 and a low of 6 degrees. And that's all from the South Today team for this Friday, and in fact for the week. And although many of you have already voted, for those who haven't, polling day is tomorrow, and don't forget to have your say on the 2 referenda. For the latest news and comprehensive coverage of election 2020, see odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on YouTube and Facebook. Have a great weekend. See you Monday. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.